It's the Movie Toasty Show, here for you. Dennis and Adam joke about orgasms and sweet movie reviews. We talk about TV too, right?
I think so.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah! Movie Toast.
Hey.
What is up?
Hey, man.
So
It's good to
194. Great to see you too.
Oh, yeah.
We've really got to figure out who's talking first before we do this.
Know.
All right.
I like to hit the ground running, though, too. Sometimes it's that collision of two people trying to run through the door jam at the same time. The classic.
Typical move.
Oh, you know.
From amateurs like us.
I call it slaps.
You think by 194 episodes, we'd be smooth, but where's the fun in that?
It takes shape in many ways. Let's put it that as we've come
Fair
to
enough.
learn.
It does what it wants to do.
Exactly.
So what's new? What's going on in the life of Dennis?
Oh man, just cooking in that summer sun, waiting to get down to San Diego with you. But I guess by the time you're hearing this one, we've gone to San Diego, folks.
We're in it.
We're in it. We're in the thick of it. Comic-Con this year. My God. Yes. We'll be in the throes of it as this gets posted. But man, am I excited to share our coverage of that show for you guys. All sorts of fun stuff we're looking forward to. And I just can't fucking wait. What about you, man? How you doing?
I'm good. Just I don't know, a little nervous. It's supposed to rain the day I take my flight to San Diego, so that could be fun. And then all this cyber issues going on. Flights are getting delayed, but we're 3 days out, so we'll see.
Yeah, there's still time, right? Like there's time for things to shift around. Hopefully, all that stuff is nice and cleared up before we get to that point. So
that doesn't matter. We're not here to talk about that shit. We're here to talk about episode 194, Dennis. We got a lot of news, a lot of polls, and a lot of reviews. I guess without further delay,
start with some news.
Let's do it.
Yeah, sounds good.
Gather round, folks, it's time for the scoop. Tune your ears in, let's join the loop.
Tune your ears in, folks. It's right here.
That is right.
Adam.
We're in the loop here. So Happy Gilmore 2 is finally all teed up. So they finally found a director for it and someone that we're both kind of fans of, I would think. Kyle Newchuk, one of the creators of Workaholics. Of course, he's worked with Sandler before. He directed the very popular Netflix murder mystery movie starring Sandler and Aniston. And I guess they're going to start production September 5th and wrap by November 8th. So I'm kind of excited for that. It sounds kind of quick. Yeah.
That should be fast. I mean, I guess it's like how many days on the course do you really need? And then what's our context here? Has that been leaked yet of what a rough plot could possibly be?
I know a while ago there was talk about possibly playing in like an older PGA tour. They're a little older, a little more senior. Him and Shooter and
the senior league. Yeah.
Sure. And I guess by that point they're filming out on the East Coast somewhere, so you're going to be fighting weather at that point if you go any further than the early November. Even October could be snow. So
for sure,
get it in while you can.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
Definitely.
Cool. That should be fun.
All right. Yeah. Up next, another movie from our past is getting rebooted. Backdraft, Dennis.
Right. It's funny.
Ben Powell.
It's come up a couple of times in conversation of just like, you just don't see that movie around anywhere. It used to be on cable and shit. It's not on cable anymore. Like
you can't even go to the Universal Studios and see that fire backdraft behind the scenes show.
Right. Exactly. But let's slap some Glenn Powell in there. That'll bring it back to life.
I mean, honestly, that story can play pretty well now. I mean, is it necessary? No, but it's a commodity. People are going to show up for it, I think.
I feel like we get a good firefighter story told every few years, like once
why not Backdraft?
Hit him again. Exactly. It makes sense.
But I am kind of concerned here. I mean, like we were talking a couple of episodes ago with Glenn Powell doing movies like Hitman, but then coming in doing movies like Twisters. Is it going to be like one for him, one for them? Because it's like I don't want to see him start getting pigeonholed and doing these like reboots and fucking continuations like Top Gun. But if he's still taking swings like Hitman, even though we didn't care for it as much, it'd be nice to see him do a wide variety of these things.
Oh, sure. Yeah. You don't want to see it would suck to then go to the movies and then you see 3 mediocre movies he stars in all in theaters at the same time. I'm like, yeah, this is why people get turned off from this experience. There's just overloading, getting too many Chris's at the box office at once. And it's like, let's not have too much Glenn. I know, folks. I'm sure many of you disagree with that statement right there. You can't have too much.
Get all the Powell you want.
All the Powell to you. All right. You can watch it again. That's what streaming is for.
Right. And then up next, Dennis, Spider-Man will spin a web before the Avengers return. Of course, Kevin Feige has been on a press tour, tearing it up, talking about a bunch of stuff. And he recently was saying him and Amy Pascal are working on a script. They got a writer, and a draft is going to be coming in relatively soon. And he has hopes that, he says it would make more sense for the movie to come out before Avengers 5, as Spider-Man No Way Home set up a darker, more personal story for Peter Parker that would be ideal to tell before Avengers 5. So it's like, yeah, that makes sense. If he's going to be in Avengers, people should know who he is at that point, I guess.
Yeah, and then like really set him up for whatever angle they're trying to end up playing the Avengers story. That's one less thing to have to explain in that movie if you at least got Peter all set up for his dark turn, whatever that may be.
And of course they're saying, and he's also saying, we're not going to get every single Marvel character in the next Avengers film. But then I'm like, okay, I bet we're going to get every other character we've ever seen in Secret Wars. So it's like, we're not going to see them all in the next Avengers movie, but you already have teed up a huge Avengers movie coming next. So it's like, what are we getting excited for when we know the bigger entree is coming essentially a couple of years more later down the road?
It's that thing that comes from the comic side of things where it's the Avengers throughout the history of the name of the group has had so many different iterations. Why not get an audience used to? The Avengers is a title. It's what we should call this group of heroes assigned to doing this job. So it should be a lot of new faces. It should be a lot of other folks. And then when we get to Secret Wars and these other stories, we can start pulling back in the other elements that we're used to seeing on top of the team that we've come to get to know, the team we can start to appreciate now. Because there's been so many lineups. I mean, none of the Fantastic Four have been present. None of the X-Men have been present in the Avengers yet.
And of course, that's going to change probably in the next film because, they're all coming.
For sure.
I don't know.
Finally.
It should be fun.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of crossing over, Dennis, of course, we've known that we're getting a new Karate Kid film.
Yeah.
That's going to merge our Cobra Kai world with the Jackie Chan Karate Kid movie. So,
great. I didn't know. I didn't want that.
What? Well, it's happening. And it's funny because there have been interviews in the past with fucking homeboy LaRusso. Why the fuck can't I think of Ralph Macchio's name?
Oh, Ralph.
In the past, he said, in no way is that ever going to happen. He's like, nah, never going to do it. But now, of course, it's happening. But of course, since the first half of Cobra Kai has now hit Netflix, he's been doing interviews and he's saying, I can't go too much into detail at this early point. The movie is not hitting until May 30th, 2025. But yeah, it was important to me. Mainly to me, it was about always being true to LaRusso. I tried to play the truth in 1983 when I originated the character, and I still always thought throughout Cobra Kai and then the new film. And let's see. So, and pretty much he's saying he was able to find things from season 6 to kind of port over into this new movie.
Okay.
And I don't know. I feel like, how do you not set up Jackie Chan at the end of that show if that's where it's going to head to next for LaRusso?
I mean, it's funny coming out of the Marvel discussion. I think it's like that safe bet of let's not mention too much if we can't ever actually pull it off, or especially pull it off the way we wanted to. If it turns out not too great, at least they can kind of try to delete it from the history and then move on, like they did the movie he comes from for quite a while. But if we're going to try to reinvigorate it, I mean, let's be honest, and some of the later Karate Kid movies weren't always nearly as great as the earlier stuff, and the Cobra Kai may not be everyone's taste, but I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Wife and I have already got through the first half of what was posted so far, and that funny enough, that inspired one of my review choices for the week. Once upon conclusion of that, felt a little retro-y, so we'll be getting to that review later on in the show. But the martial arts theme carries on in the show later. Boy. But I had a fun time with it. He does a great job in the show. I very much enjoy Ralph Macchio kind of keeping the character alive. Fuck it, why not? I didn't think.
I love how we looked at him. Yeah, I love how looking at him as a villain in season 1 of Cobra Kai, and now he's back to being a hero. And it's interesting how they can easily flip that switch on and off and really change perspective.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of seeing someone from our past, Dennis, I got excited this week because Jack Bauer might bring the Bauer power back, but on the big screen.
Oh, that would be.
There's talk that there might be a 24 feature film coming up soon, but it's not yet known if it's going to be a reboot or a continuation, or if even Kiefer is going to be there. But I don't know how you do 24 without Kiefer. They tried it with the last iteration on Fox, and it did not go past the season.
No. And it was a little tough. I remember starting to do it, and I need that Kiefer energy. I know it'd probably be a little tough getting back into it. A
little bit older.
Busy, maybe keeping busy will help with. I know his father having passed away this last a month ago now.
Well, a couple weeks ago at this point, yeah.
Fuck yeah, no, that's true. Maybe that's a good way to just kind of keep working through. Keeping the name alive too, I'm
always down.
We're big fans of this character, but yeah, what is
I just don't know how you're gonna pull it off. Is it gonna be like 60 or 90 or 120? Like, how do you pull a real-time television series and compact it into a feature film? I mean, yeah, it lends itself perfectly, the action and suspense and drama, but I don't know how the fun is watching a whole day in the life of this guy who doesn't go to the bathroom or fall asleep.
One of the TV movies didn't
Redemption
in that format. Yeah, it actually didn't follow the minute by minute format. They scrubbed it.
Sure, and that was fine.
And it's like, you know what? I'll just watch him do his thing. Exactly. Make it that the mythical Die Hard 24 crossover of just show me Jack Bauer doing Jack Bauer shit.
That's all we need.
I'm here for it. It's fine. Sorry, Tony.
Even
Almeida. Oh, he died though, didn't he?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Shit.
Yeah, Tony died. And then came back and then died. Went dark, went good.
He was a bad guy, then he was a good guy.
Shit happens.
As long as
Chloe. Oh man. What a great show. Fantastic. But even if it's like a Jack Bauer origin, I'd watch. It would suck because it's not Kiefer, and how do you relive the magic of Kiefer with someone else?
Star in it. Glenn Powell.
Let's do it. Sign me up. Well, I guess hopefully we'll get more details. He's Jack's strange son that we never knew about. Oh Jack has to save him, or he has to save Jack.
See that? Oh my god! When I was undercover overseas,
the girl next door.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I didn't tell you about your brother. I didn't want you getting jealous.
Right.
Well, I wish I knew before I got knocked up by my brother, Jack Bauer. Well, let's go to Planned Parenthood and stop this terrible atrocity. Oh no, there's protesters. Yeah. Oh man. What a dark film that would be.
Oh
boy.
You got my ticket, Fandango.
Sign me up. Is Fandango a thing anymore? Has to be. Well, I guess let's get into the second portion of the show, Dennis. The thing we call polls.
Do it. Pull it up.
Yeah, I don't know why I left Jack Bauer up there while we were singing that song.
Never have enough Jack Bauer. I think it was fine.
True.
I question nothing.
Yeah. So with the upcoming release this week of Deadpool and Wolverine, I wanted to know what the Toasties' favorite pre-MCU Marvel film was out of Blade, X-Men, Spider-Man, and Fantastic Four.
It's a solid lineup, sir. It's a solid lineup, but I think you already know my answer.
There's some good ones. I'm going to go with, I'm going to assume Spider-Man on your end.
Yep, it's still Spider-Man. X-Men's close, but Spider-Man for sure is the lead for me.
I don't know where I'm at. I feel like Blade, feel like Spider-Man.
I was going to guess Blade actually for you, but
yeah, I think I'm going to go Blade.
Nice.
Got to go Blade.
Wesley.
I mean, he was the earliest. I almost wanted to put fucking Howard the Duck on there, but I'm like, I don't know how many people would be voting, but I guess I would have got an answer that way.
Right. I didn't think then there's Dolph Lundgren's Punisher. Doesn't that predate
sure.
Howard the Duck?
Yeah, one of those TV movies. Then there's a version of Nick Fury. I guess there was like an older Spider-Man
TV movie. Yeah. Oh, yep.
Or are we talking about the never released Corman Fantastic Four that we watched a few years ago? I don't know.
God, that was
fun stuff.
That was an experience.
Talk about our old podcast. That was quite the episode.
Yeah.
All right, so let's find out what the Toasty said, Dennis. Surprisingly, 0% for Blade.
Wow. Oh, that
I thought it'd get some love.
At least a little. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. All right, Toasties. Fair enough. Okay.
And believe it or not, Dennis, if you think that's hard to believe, 0% goes to Spider-Man. I don't know how Sam Raimi Spider-Man got no votes. What's wrong with these people?
Yeah, I'm at heartbroken this time. Oh my god.
I can't believe it. When I got the results back, I shit myself on both those.
You're telling me
maybe
Fantastic Four has more fucking votes? If you tell me Chris
It's
Evans
clobbering time.
Oh Jesus. Oh. Oh no.
So now let me play devil's advocate here. Is it X-Men or Fantastic Four we're going to get next? Or is there going to be a 0% and then 100% for one of those films?
I feel like it's going to be almost a 60-40 Fantastic, 60 X-Men. It's my hope at this point. For the love of God, I hope that's my best fucking outcome. Even better, it's zero. It's 0 for Fantastic, and it's 100 for X-Men.
You think? You would imagine that, Dennis. But
my heart's already broken.
33% for Fantastic Four. And I'm not gonna lie, for a little bit, it was in the lead for quite some time. So I am kind of surprised, even though I just made this slide like an hour ago. I thought it was going to be X-Men.
Toasties, right? You're just fucking with us? It's got to be. Oh my god.
I don't know how Fantastic Four beats Blade and Spider-Man.
They don't have Jessica Alba.
Again, if you don't,
or Chris Evans.
That's true. Or Michael Chiklis.
The Chickster.
Or Homeboy that I always fuck up his name, even though I worked on a film that he was in. Oh boy. So, of course, as you can imagine, 67% for the X-Men, which I just rewatched last night. Still holds up.
See, it's still fun.
Cheesy.
It's still But it's I like how as they've gone on, almost every for a decade after that movie, there would be little nods back to this one to make this keep fitting back into the world. And I love that. And I'm like, that's fine. You could even calling themselves out, saying they fucked up with certain characters and like Toad being all over the place. I'm like, no. Different timelines. Don't you fucking worry about it.
Yeah.
X-Men kind of held the threads together for the longest time. So,
and speaking of Kevin Feige being on the press tour, he finally elaborated on why the X-Men wore black leather outfits. Because The Matrix was hot, and some producer said, well, let's do that because The Matrix did it.
Oh, of course.
Ridiculous.
I mean, God, that was... I mean, go back to the earlier stuff. By then, didn't we have Blade 3 or 2? So...
maybe 2,
keeping that sort of tone a lot, it falls right into that same category of fucking black.
But it makes sense for Blade to have black leather.
Oh, sure. I just mean like the popularity is just that visual. The Matrix style never kind of didn't go away for a while, and now I feel like.
And then,
drip back
of course, there are. I don't know if you've seen the article, but apparently grown men on the set of Deadpool and Wolverine cried seeing Jackman in the actual costume that we all know and love, which makes sense because
it's like I think that would elicit a strong response in myself personally if I saw that. That would be amazing. I mean, it's a good point because I guarantee there was people on that set who grew up starting with 100%. This, and how fucking amazing would that see like the tallest Wolverine ever, standing right there. That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
All right, so up next, I reviewed a little movie called Kinds of Kindness.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, you know what? Don't listen to that because I wrote that, but I'm going to say I wanted to know what the Toasties' favorite Lupita Nyong'o film was. 12 Years a Slave, Star Wars The Force Awakens, Black Panther, and Us. But apparently, I just wrote the wrong ticker. It doesn't matter, Dennis. Where are you at with these Lupita films?
The creepiness of Us is fantastic. Black Panther, of course, I love that regal sort of presence that we get to enjoy there. But I think I might say Us.
I'm with you on that. Yeah. Especially her playing two characters, distinctly different characters.
And fantastic. Disturbingly different, I would almost add to that, just because it's so fucking gnarly once you start to get those interactions happening on screen, and just does a good job of, like you said, just splitting the same actress into two different, completely separate personalities. Well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
So the Toasties have spoken, and 0% for The Force Awakens, which I get.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I liked it, but
I love Star Wars.
Her character wasn't as important, and
unfortunately, we started.
She did play more of a role later on.
Yeah,
but there was just so much
happening.
You don't think, oh yeah, Lupita, Star Wars. You don't think that.
Right,
These other films, she pops out to you, I think. So
for sure,
20% for 12 Years a Slave. Good film. Heavy stuff happening.
Gut wrenching. Yeah.
That leaves 20% for Black Panther. Oh, surprised. Okay. I thought a lot more people would like it, but it makes sense. She wasn't a main character, I suppose. Played important role, but
But that leaves us with the
yes.
There we go. Hell yeah.
I don't know why I have 60%. That should be 80%. Did I miss a movie here?
There was another option that fell off.
What the fuck is going on with my abilities here?
No, you were good.
I don't know.
Math is sound.
I had 2 20s.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 12 Years a Slave, Black Panther. Okay.
Yeah. We're good.
I did it right. 60% for us. So the Toasties agree. God damn it. Stop opening my mouth. Just roll with the flow. Go with the flow. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter.
We're just hyped, folks. Sorry. You'll understand here shortly with our Comic-Con coverage. We'll fill you in.
Yeah, I'll use that as an excuse.
There we go. Roll with it.
All right, Dennis. Let's get to the main reason why the folks are watching and listening to the show. A little thing called reviews.
Lights, camera, action. It's review time. Dennis and Adam, we gon' blow your mind. We're stepping up to the plate, ready to swing. Analyzing movies like a scientist would play.
All right, Dennis, can you analyze your first movie like a mad scientist with bling, please?
Oh, as
teased it earlier.
Every week, as you know. So, I
bi-weekly.
True. As Adam just pointed out, yes, this was inspired by some recent Cobra Kai viewing, some martial arts kick-assing and wish fulfillment. I remember when I was a kid, I loved this next review I'm about to give you, Surf Ninjas, released in 1993, starring an interesting cast of characters, Rob Schneider, Leslie Nielsen, and Ernie Reyes Jr. This is the story of two boys in Los Angeles. Funny enough, if you know the area, the places they filmed, it's like both Santa Monica and Venice at the same time, and it's kind of just this choppy sort of amalgamation.
They blend together, sure.
All of
Why
the
not?
coastal West Side, and
go on the PCH, and you're there.
Exactly. After some sick moto surfing, we start to put together this story that these two boys came from another country entirely, the fictitious island of
fictitious to you,
yeah.
Real to the rest of the world.
They're the royal heirs of Patusan, which was overthrown.
You never heard of Patusan? Amateur.
Yeah.
Read a fucking encyclopedia every now and again, Dennis. You'll learn all about it. Wiki it.
There's a great
true
map scene, like the classic. We're on a ship. So
them traveling
the ship. Yeah. And it's like
they can't even fly. They take ships.
The ship starts off on like coming off the coast of Spain. By the way, mind you, they left from Los Angeles. So the little boat is like leaving Spain, and then it goes through the Panama Canal, and then it floats out to this clearly hand-drawn like little island south of Japan called Patusan. And clearly inspired by Thai culture and wardrobe and stuff. So these two kids are the royalty. They were the escaped princes after this militaristic overthrow. Their parents didn't survive, but their close personal bodyguard and their uncle were able to keep them alive, sending them off to the United States. And unfortunately, because the older of the two sons is beginning to come of age in their culture, he's about to turn 16. He actually has the right to take the crown back. So they're sending ninja assassins to come kill him and his brother. Well, turns out they have these gifted abilities where the older brother is just a combat master. It's just ingrained into his blood. While his younger brother is a seer. He has the ability to see visions of the future and able to kind of manipulate the situation as they come up to them. Of course, given the name, they're surfers. We're having a kick-ass time in 90s Venice Beach, being cool surfers. It's a fun romp. This is a great family story that is, it's definitely up in all this hype of the martial arts fad that hit really hard with three ninjas and Ninja Turtles and fucking any other movie you could think of that's got ninjas in the title. And
Beverly Hills
Ninja. There you go. It scratches a lot of that itch while offering just a lot of wacky slapstick fun. It's definitely not something that's ever trying to take itself too seriously, but it's beautiful. All of this is shot on location.
Was not expecting that.
It's holy shit. Like half the movie was filmed in Thailand. They actually shot all of that stuff first. And then interesting enough.
Still wouldn't expect that.
Right? Oh, see, well, there's the kind of the bummer. They spent almost $7 million making the movie, and it only made $5 million at the box office when it released. So
yeah, but then once you get home video, they make some money.
Exactly. It did have a revival. It does have its own, sort of cult following now. The director of the movie is actually Neil Israel, is known for a lot of stuff. Had directed Tom Hanks' Bachelor Party and had written several other episodes for other known series. That he gets the sort of tone. It's just this sort of like avenue, it being sort of the more family friendly entry in his works. I found kind of interesting, but I gotta be honest, it kind of fucking holds up still. I had a lot of fun watching it. Is it cheesy as fuck? Sure. There's some of the combat scenes are a little much, but one of the cool things about that is the star of the movie, Ernie Reyes Jr., is doing most of his own stunts. His father, in fact, is in the movie doing most of his own stunts. It's a fun time. I mean, it's very silly. It's very wacky. It's not like it's the best story ever. But if you got Tubi TV or if you got the Roku channel, you can check it out there for free. You just got to deal with a few ads, but I think it's well worth it. If you're feeling like some nostalgia, if you also remember Surf Ninjas from you were younger and you're kind of curious if it's worth watching again, I would recommend it. Please go check it out. Surf Ninjas, I'm going to give 2.5 slices. It's still a fun time. It's maybe not like it's no Karate Kid, but it's worth a watch.
None of them are
for you. Oh yeah, for sure.
You know what I thought of once he said you watch this? Mentioning Ernie Reyes Jr. A little film I like to call Star Maps, Dennis. A classic 90s film.
Oh my god, I forgot he was in that. That's
oh yeah.
That
was why we got on to that story in the previous podcast that I'm promoting today for some unknown reason that nobody can really find unless they're digging around. It doesn't matter. Up next, I have a movie in limited release, but currently coming to theaters August 2nd called Sing Sing. So this is a movie about essentially a group of actors putting on a play. They can't decide what type of play to do. So this guy takes everyone's input and makes this amalgamation of a crazy play, and they put it on. But the interesting here, it's called Sing Sing, not because it's a musical, but because it takes place in Sing Sing prison, and these actors are incarcerated guys who are kind of getting the chance to be free and forget about their terrible lives inside the prison and putting on a play. And our main character is played brilliantly by Coleman Domingo, a guy named Divine G. He was wrongfully in prison, and he loves plays. He writes his own plays, and he kind of is expecting to have the lead in this play. And he also just recently brought this other guy into his group, and this other guy ends up taking the play. And this other guy is harder and more badass and doesn't want anyone's help or anything. He doesn't even really want to be there. And it's essentially Coleman's character then kind of gets him to break down his shell, and they start bonding and whatnot. But the interesting thing here is this is all based on true events, and the guy that Coleman's playing is in the movie. All the other actors essentially in this movie are real people in the prison. And at the end of the movie, you're seeing there's actually video of this play that actually happened in real life. This movie is raw, beautiful. It's weird. It's rated R. But I think that's primarily because of the language in it. But it's really an uplifting story. Like, it's beautiful.
That's awesome.
And it looks cinematic as fuck, and just, you feel like a fly on the wall. Kind of looks like a documentary. I went into this not knowing much about it, but boy, did I really enjoy Sing Sing. Coming to theaters August 2nd. I'm going to give it 3 slices of toast. Fun watch. Nice. There is some heavy stuff that happens in it, but overall it's uplifting, I think.
Nice, man. No, you got me intrigued on that one for sure.
It's worth checking out.
Not expecting that to have that much, especially the fact that you're the use of the cast being actual inmates. That's that's really cool.
They're
too.
Pretty good. They're believable, I guess, because they're kind of playing themselves. But
but
still,
the opportunity alone, that's awesome that the chance was given, and then they're truly portraying what they're aiming.
And they're filming in the prison. They're the prison. It's just so fucking fantastic. Yeah, everything about it.
Nice.
Pretty fun. I think you're going to review a movie I did a couple of months ago, and I'm very intrigued to see what you have to say about it.
Yes. So this just landed, I saw over on Netflix, if I'm not mistaken. And it definitely caught my eye. Little Hemsworth action. Hemsworth squared, and not the Hemsworth you think, mind you. This is the 2 other ones. And a little bit of Russell Crowe mixed in there. I'm talking about Land of Bad. So as previously mentioned in the show, as Adam described, this is a story of a UAV operator from the Navy who's getting brought in on a ground mission. He's not normally in the line of fire. He's been out in the field once before. Normally not his bag, but they need this point of contact to be really close for this particular rescue mission. Things go to shit. Now it's a story of survival, not even whether or not we can even complete the mission. And one of his few points of contact is his UAV, the drone operator up of head, played by Russell Crowe, which I love all the funny little like quirks he has, putting the golf glove on. Like there was a heavy grittiness as soon as this thing started. It's just banging, and I love that it never slowed down really until you got to the very end of the movie. And I had fun watching this. I got to be honest, I was very pleasantly surprised. I was just kind of like, the autoplay sort of trailer in the background menu as I was flipping through Netflix. That's honestly what sold me. It was the Overwatch, like there's this Overwatch sort of sniper scene where he's supposed to be scoping out, and then all of these bad dudes roll out right underneath Liam Hemsworth's like hiding spot. And he's hearing all this radio chatter. It's like, okay, we're going to start sighting him in. We're going to drop all these dudes who are right beneath you. And it's such a good, like, it's a very intense buildup of emotion. And I like this stress that's being exerted.
And not only that, but I feel like we're seeing some heavy action. Like, I feel like we don't get this type of action in movies. Like, it feels realistic and just vibrant and loud and crazy.
It's not super over the top like Triple Frontier.
It's not like a John Wick.
Yeah, like this one.
It's more reality based.
Yes, and I fucking love that. I really appreciated the fact that they wanted to put the audience in a much more grounded version of what this looks like. Seeing some really gnarly shit. I mean, I was not expecting the executions that were occurring, that they were having to just sit back and basically watch at one point. And
not to say this movie's
kicking ass. Like,
oh yeah, and it's not super heavy the whole time, because we're getting moments of comedy dealing with Russell Crowe. Like, there's a scene where crazy shit's happening, and he's just shopping for like vegan food for his pregnant wife in a store, and yet it's funny and riveting at the same time. Is someone going to answer the phone moment? You know, like I love that sort of build up, and then reaffirming why is this guy who's clearly older than all of his like commanding officers, why is he still in the position he's in? We see exactly why he still maintains the job he has, but for good reason. Now, did it offer there was a couple of moments I'm like, took me out of it. The very end of the movie, I don't think we needed the little wedding dance number. There was no grounds for this sort of bonding moment. I didn't feel enough. I think if it was just an exchange of glance, like, I see what you did there, that you did the right thing, that was enough. I get it. I didn't need you to try to force feed me that extra little bit. The movie was awesome up until that point. I liked it.
I think it was a solid action movie, and I had a great time watching it. If you're looking for something gritty, a cool shooter, overseas, ground and pound sort of action, highly recommend Lane to Bad. Go check it out on Netflix. I'm going to give it 3 slices of toast.
Fair enough. Up next, I have the latest chilling entry into the Nicolas Cage category of films called Longlegs.
Badass.
All right, so this movie follows an FBI agent who's working a case about a murderer known as Longlegs, who's been killing families for years. Now, the interesting thing here is he's never actually committed any of the murders, but he's convinced family members to then murder their family. And he always leaves like a calling card, like a riddle that's cryptic, but he signs it Longlegs, and nobody knows what he looks like, who he is. But there's something going on. You can tell there's some form of a connection that this FBI agent Harker has with him. It turns out she almost was a victim of him, but somehow survived. But she doesn't know any of this. But we see it in the opening of the film. Now, it's kind of cool because like there's like scenes that take place as she's a child, and we're seeing it on film in this very tight aspect ratio. Ooh. And then the screen starts to bleed and become bigger, and it's digital. And it takes place, I want to say, in like the 80s or 90s. And it's gritty. It feels like an early 80s or 90s like thriller movie. And the set design is just so dirty and gross and beautiful.
Awesome.
And the wardrobe is believable. Everything is so sexy with this. And like, even like the violence is raw and real. Like, there's a scene right out the shot where someone gets shot, and it's not like a regular movie gunshot. It's like a pop, like a real life gunshot. And it's just visceral and like disturbing and beautiful. That's and awesome. Her boss is played by Blair Underwood, who I haven't seen in a while, and he's given a great performance as well.
Wow, yeah.
And but Nicolas Cage is kind of not his normal self. Like, he has like heavy prosthetics. His delivery is a little more muted and docile, but menacing. And honestly, he looks like and kind of feels like he's channeling our friend of the show, Mr. Christopher Walken, and it's fantastic.
Dude, it's interesting because I had heard some stuff of like his comments on the movie afterwards that he said he would never do this this style character again. Like, he's like, I'm done with the genre. It was so it affected him so much, although he was proud of doing it, that it's like he just doesn't want to emotionally put himself through those hurdles again. I'm like, okay, that's That's some hardcore shit. And then coming from Nick Cage, that's got to be some serious shit too. So I'm loving what I'm hearing, man. I was already excited.
Oh, it's fantastic.
I'm even more excited now, dude. Oh, that's awesome.
And God, it's just so good. And it's only an hour and 41 minutes, but there's a lot going on. Okay. And I will say my only problem with this movie is it plays awesomely as a thriller, as a horror, but then it enters like a satanic magic type thing, and it's like, okay, I really could do without that.
I love that shit. So maybe it'll tell me.
If that's the only problem I have, it's still fine. It's still a fantastic movie. I'm gonna give Longlegs 3.5 slices.
Oh, fuck yeah. Badass, dude. Oh,
good times.
I'm super excited for this one. Damn it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check this one out soon.
You got to check it out, and I would love to hear your take on it for sure. You got a movie that I heard the writer director talking about, and I'm kind of intrigued to hear what you have to say about it because I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. My next review is a little flick that's available now on Hulu, starring a dude you might recognize from A Pirate Ship, Orlando Bloom, and Ms. Lady from Groundhog Day, Andie MacDowell. I'm talking about Red Right Hand. So this is a story of a just hardworking Appalachian family. They're running a farm. They got cows, horses, all that shit going on. We find out Orlando Bloom has basically moved on to help with the farm, the family farm of his brother-in-law and his niece. His sister, the connecting part of the family, she had passed away, and he was there to help. He promised that he would be there to help out and just take care of things. His brother-in-law, he's got a serious alcohol problem to the point to where he really just frankly can't be trusted to do anything. And it's sad because it's like his daughter even is like, this is just par for the course. She's doing her trigonometry homework while her dad's just like falling all over the furniture with bottles of whiskey and shit downstairs. But they're trying to keep the lid on the farm. But come to find out, the brother-in-law, he had taken a huge loan out from this local gang, that they're slinging pills and shit, that is run by Andie MacDowell, and he's almost due. It's like it's not due yet, but he gets like the first warning of like, keep in mind you still owe us money. We expect you to pay this back soon. Orlando Bloom's character is just finding out about it, and he's like, well, fuck, I guess we gotta do something about this. Turns out he was in the gang that is run by Andie MacDowell years previously, and he finally got his way out. So it's like, all right, you got to go back into the fire one more time. And they strike a deal. We'll let everything off the hook if you do these 3 jobs, but I'm going to call you at any fucking time, and you're going to do these 3 jobs for me. So that's what we're following here. And it's got this too was shot more or less on location, beautifully shot. I gotta say, the forests and the mountains that we're going through look fantastic. There's a lot of these beautiful like wide shots of Bloom bombing down these country roads on a dirt bike, and we're really kind of selling the tone and the setting, and I like how outdoorsy it feels out here. We get to Andie MacDowell's mansion, her family like compound, and the mansion's gorgeous. Some of the propage is cool. I like that they keep calling back to, there's this World War II rifle that is the centerpiece in a few scenes, and they make a big deal out of that at one point that I don't want to spoil. But of course, this is all building up to, the big confrontation that we get to at the end of the movie. And I got to say, it takes a long time to get there, man. We spend a little too much time, I think, setting up the relationships. I got it, man. Like, I understand what's happening. And we kind of have to have one scene too many for each individual component until we finally get the ball rolling on the gigs he's got to be doing. So it's like, the movie's pretty long in tooth. Almost 2 hours long. So I'm like, okay, we must be covering a lot of ground. No, we just keep revisiting a lot of ground. Garrett Dillahunt
hate to see that happen
as well.
Ooh, I love him.
Oh, he does a great job. He plays a pastor that was also in the same gang that he runs the church that they go to on Sundays. So now it's like that's sort of their bonding moment of like you were inside too, so you at least you get it. And no, we get some cool. There's some really cool moments. The action when it really kicks off, I was definitely surprised by some of the things they've shown. There was kills that I was not expecting to see that were intense, but not as constant as I thought it was going to be, especially given the trailer that we watched. I mean, fuck, even the poster that's on screen right now, if you're watching the episode, it's the tone might be like this, but it's a slower burn, even slower than that suggests. And it's a little too slow for me. So I would have given it higher marks had it actually just picked up the pace a little more, or at least had a couple more of these gigs. I want to see him doing the dirty work a little bit more than just talking about not wanting to do the dirty work anymore. So Red Right Hand, you can, like I said, you can watch it on Hulu right now. Decent action flick. If you're a fan of any of the cast I had mentioned, I would recommend you check it out if you sort of like this world that we're living in, but you're not missing much if you don't get around to it. I'm going to give it 2 slices.
Oh, wow.
Not bad, but it just never really got out of second gear for most of the film, and then all of a sudden we're flying through the transmission there. So yeah, I wish I could give higher marks. Yeah,
hey, it happens. Now I'm going to close this out with this previous week's latest, hottest, newest film, Twisters. Of course, we were talking about Glenn Powell, and here he is again. All right, so this movie, I'm not going to lie, I know I've seen Twister countless times as a child on HBO or whatnot, but I barely remember shit. So I really had no interest in seeing this. I felt like, it's a tornado movie, whatever. But I'll give you a breakdown. So you got our main character, played by none other than Daisy Edgar-Jones. Her name is Kate Cooper. In the opening of the movie, Kate and a bunch of her friends and her boyfriend are doing this like school project, but the project is we're going to try to make a tornado dissipate. And they get right up to a tornado. They make this concoction. It's looking like it's going good. And they realize, oh shit, somehow we miscalculated and we made the tornado worse. And all her friends and her boyfriend die. And then we cut 5 years later. She gave up on her dream. Now she works for like the National Broadcast Weather Association or some bullshit. And one other guy that she used to do this type of shit with, played by Anthony Ramos, is named Javi. Yeah. He was so this guy was more of the computer guy, and he was miles away tracking everything. He survived, and he tracked her down, even though she's aloof. She doesn't even talk to her mother really, but he finds her in New York, the last place he'd expect, because she used to be an Oklahoma gal. And he's like, hey, after, and he, in the opening of the movie, was just kind of like a partier. He didn't care. He just cared about money. But he's like, I had no purpose. After I graduated, I joined the army, and I took care of this thing. It was to detect weather. And I realized we can get all the information we need about tornadoes. So I started my own private company that's going to track tornadoes and get scans of tornadoes. Sure. And you're the best there is. You know how to read tornadoes and weather. So I want you to come back to Oklahoma. It's tornado season. Let's figure out what we wanted to do as kids. Let's find a way to stop tornadoes. And she's like,
I'm calling you back.
I don't know. Come on. I gave that life up. And he's like, but think of all the lives you could save. She's like, God damn it. I want to save the lives. I'll give you 2 weeks. And then, so sure as shit, she's out there. They're doing it. Of course, I'm making it sound cheesier than it is. I wish that was the dialogue, but it's not.
I don't know. It sounds pretty like I believe,
but
I'm not surprised.
I'm giving it this jokey attitude, but I did enjoy it. It was good. But she gets out there. She meets his team, all these top-notch people from all these badass backgrounds, and they're like, this is her. This is the girl I've been telling you about, the best of the best. And then his second in command is like, huh, yeah, okay. This guy's kind of a dick, played by the guy that's playing the new Superman. And he's like, fuck this girl. And so as all this is going on, we meet this redneck group of people who have this hit YouTube channel where they go and wrangle tornadoes. And that's, of course, our guy Tyler, played by Glenn Powell. And we're like, oh, fuck this guy. He's a bad guy. He's fucking with them, getting in their heads, following them, screwing things up. He's got this truck. He's shooting fireworks into tornadoes and just doing all this wacky shit. And he goes to towns that were just torn up by tornadoes and sells T-shirts. And he's a no good rapscallion. Or is he? The second act comes and things take a turn.
Come on now. Yeah.
He might be a good guy, and maybe Javi's working for some bad people.
Oh.
Because, oh boy, it's a rough story here. So now our main character, she goes and talk and gets to know him a little bit more, Tyler. And he's like, I got a computer. I'll help you figure out how to get rid of tornadoes. And they set off to do what they were going to do from the first place. And crazy things ensue. I just did an old school review and just broke down the whole movie, essentially. But I'm sorry. It's
I was
crazy.
Hoping you'd say a maimed Carrie Elwes would show up, and this is how you chase.
That's the thing. There's zero connection to Twister. I don't know. Everyone that's been talking and reviewing and doing stuff is all like, yeah, this is a sequel. This is a continuation. No, it's not. It's its own fucking thing. And it's like, that's cool. Let it be its own thing. It doesn't have to be connected. And it's a very good movie. And I will say they got all these different styles of cameras. Like at one point you're seeing like a regular camcorder. Another point you're seeing a drone. Another point you're seeing a really high depth digital camera. Then you're getting the whole film itself, the main film. Most of it's filmed on film. I will say it has a lot of cool moments. The interesting thing is the soundtrack itself is country western. I don't like country western music, but it kind of works for this movie, and it kind of makes the scenes even more enjoyable, which is weird to me. But the biggest
sort of like the Americana backdrop too. Like it's,
I think so.
Seeing the farm fields, and I think there's something about, and then of course the cowboy imagery that's represented. I know there's a scene that's in a rodeo. Like I feel like you're saying, in the right context, even if it's a genre of music you don't like, it does add to that tone. I could see that vibe in the trailers and shit. So that's cool.
That's not to say there isn't like there is a score as well that goes on, but it's mainly country western. But my biggest flaw is there's some things, it's like there's a lot of science mumbo jumbo, and it's like clearly you can't just make a concoction and make tornadoes disappear. I'm no scientist, I'm no meteorologist, but I know that's bullshit. And
just
then
some bleach into it and it'll go away.
Glenn Powell's character can pull right up to a tornado, but no fair. He can just hit a button and then giant industrial-sized drills drill a truck into the ground, and he's safe. And it's like, I'm sorry, tornadoes rip houses out of the fucking ground. What? Right. Where's the reality in this? There's even one scene.
The thing in the trailer when it showed him shooting the fireworks off into I'm like, okay, so you're telling me there's no wind until it gets up there, right? So it's not just getting
it's perfectly shot into it.
Yeah, like, okay, come on. I get the suspension of belief in this sort of scenario, but like you're saying, if you then try to inject all this like scientific fact into it on top of that, I'm like, no, shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
just be fucking tornado magic then. Let it
exactly
be tornado sorcerer.
And to make it even better, there's one scene where Glenn Powell, as I said, he was like using his computer figuring things out. He delivers like this monologue with all this like scientific bullshit. And like, you can tell he's proud of himself. I feel like he fucked up a bunch of times. And like, he's like, I got it right finally. And then you can see Daisy Edgar. You can see Daisy Edgar Jones is like, it looks like she's smiling and almost laughing because she's like, oh, wow, we got through this. But it kind of plays off as the character's impressed by his knowledge. But it's just like, oh, no. She's just laughing because he finally delivered this bullshit exposition. But I will say, his charm and charisma really sells this thing. It like leaps off the screen, and she's given a great job too. Like as this girl who's gone through some shit, and Anthony Ramos is also great. So the performances are pretty top notch, I think.
Nice.
But the downfall of this film is the CG. The original movie had a lot of practical effects, and this was primarily CG. Some of it was fine, but most of it was kind of iffy and just not what I wanted out of a big movie. I felt like, from what I can recall of the original, it looked and felt more natural, and this just felt like
sound, I mean, didn't the first one get nominated, or didn't it win an Oscar for its sound design?
Wouldn't be shocked. I bet.
Fucking fantastic in the first one. I noticed you kind of didn't really mention that so far in your review yet. Was that something that was like a strong takeaway while watching it, or was it sort of
not my take? No.
Interesting. Okay.
It's weird because I've seen a lot of other movies lately that I've been like, oh, really good sound design. And this, I was like, I mean, it was good. I saw it in an IMAX, so there was some good stuff, but
sure.
Just not on, not top notch like other things.
First, you mentioned the score and stuff before that, which that says a lot. But for instance, let's look at the cast. Not to diminish anyone else, but let's be honest. Injecting Glenn Powell into your movie, it's like even a bad script, he's going to elevate things to a certain point where it's going to be marketable. You're going to get a certain level of charm, and the guy fucking works. Like he's a good guy. He's he's the good guy you love to hate in some movies. He's the good guy you hate to love in others, and he strikes that balance in a lot of things. He's good at what he does, but I totally feel like it's very much built around that, especially at least the way they marketed the film. So I was curious.
And that's one thing that felt kind of weird to me.
Yeah.
That's true what you're saying, but he doesn't come in until about 20-25 minutes into the movie. And it's like, oh shit, this is his movie, but it doesn't feel fully.
We get Bill Paxton in the first 7 minutes of the
probably.
You get that flashback opening in the first one, and then it's just boom, boom, boom. You get everyone. There's no surprise characters. It's here's everybody for the rest of the movie. One thing that's kind of interesting to me on our YouTube page, I have a mini review of the movie that just recently came out a couple of weeks ago, Fly Me to the Moon. And I was talking about how much I really dug Channing Tatum and Scarlett Johansson's chemistry together. I thought they were really good, but everyone else I heard reviewing it are like, oh, they have no chemistry. Their romance isn't that great. And I'm like, okay. And this movie, everyone's like, Daisy Edgar-Jones and Glenn Powell, fantastic chemistry. But I felt like they really didn't. I felt like interesting.
There's this kind of will they, won't they vibe that felt forced and not natural. And then once they started taking a shine,
it looks
not by it.
Even in the trailer, it looks like they're going to force them together. And I'm like, I don't want them. What's the line in Sunny? I wish they won't. And I hope they don't.
Yeah.
I don't even want it to happen. Just let them. In fact, wouldn't that be nice if we got a movie like this and it's just people doing the thing? Do we need to have like a spark fucking romance between our main characters when there's goddamn tornadoes murdering people? Like, I'm kind of just fine watching them defeat the tornadoes, but
I want to tell you exactly what happens at the end of the movie because we're joking about cliches of things that happen.
Oh, Christ.
And just the way things there's something really fun that happens at the end that I'm like, awesome. I want to talk about, but I don't want to ruin. But yeah, overall, Twister's a fine time. It deserves its domination of the box office this week. It's a great popcorn summertime tentpole movie. Totally. I'm gonna give Twister's 2.5 slices. Not the best, not the worst. I had a good time, but will I watch it again? Probably not.
I feel like the big screen's definitely the way you want to watch something like this the first time.
100%.
I remember seeing the first one in theaters when I was a kid. Should have my mom have taken me to see that in theaters? Probably not. And it made me a little scared of tornadoes for a while, even though they don't exist in Oregon like ever. But
sure.
But it was an awesome visceral experience, and it was just the way it appeared on screen. So it'd be cool if I'm curious if the current generation who are getting introduced to these films, if that's what it feels like.
Hopefully. And it's interesting. I'll say this about it, which I forgot to say earlier, but in the beginning of the movie, when we're meeting Glenn Powell and whatnot, they make it seem fun and interesting and just Like, it's a fun time following tornadoes, watching them. But then they do make it a point to show the devastation of what happens to families and businesses, and they take that shit seriously. And I do appreciate the film doing that because they're not just glorifying this tragedy that strikes people.
Or like go out in the path of something that will definitely kill you. You know, like I mean, fuck. Remember the there was like that Discovery Channel series of those tornado chasers and storm chasers that they followed for a while. That I know that spawned a lot of mimics and copycats that I'm sure people did dumb stuff thinking they could just get away with it. But no, that's good. You should the reality of the situation should definitely be on display for it. So otherwise,
like they even go out of the way to have Glenn Powell on his YouTube channel saying, "Kids, don't try this at home. We're trained professionals." I'm like, there's no fucking such thing as a trained tornado watcher or whatnot. You're not a professional. You are just an amateur. Sure, you have experience, but that doesn't make you a professional.
Right. Well, I think it's one of those things where it's like you become the professional when you've done it for a while long enough. You know how dangerous it is to the point to where you just need to tell people to not do it because you've taken your life into your own hands and realize, you know, like that warning message at the beginning of Jackass. You know that didn't fucking stop anyone. You know, it's like,
not at all. Kids tried everything.
Those guys were not professionals, but they've beat the shit out of themselves so many times.
They put their 1,000 hours in.
Yeah, exactly. The closest, closest you could get to that sort of definition of what that might mean. But yeah, I'm with you there.
Speaking of professionals, Dennis, I don't know. There may be professionals that listen or watch the show or amateurs, but if they get a short film, we get a festival coming up.
Sure. Oh my God. This December, it's coming up again, folks. The 4th time around the horn, if you can fucking believe it. We are doing.
They do that in the movie.
Toast. Yeah.
Yeah. Twisters. That's a big thing.
If there's 2, get 2 twisters.
Sorry, I know I'm hijacking this here, but they sell in the trailer and the title of the movie Twisters. And the big part in the trailer is, "We got twins," or whatever.
Right.
That's for like 2 minutes. That's not even the main destruction happening here. So it's like, fuck you for selling us something bigger than it actually is. Anyways, we got a festival, folks.
No, hold on. Now it got me curious. Do you at least get flying cows?
Nope.
God damn it. Never mind. Fuck this.
The one thing people know from the original movie you don't get. Oh boy.
Damn it.
Anywho.
Anyways, yes. The movie Toast, the festival, the entries are already stacking up, but there is still plenty of room, plenty of time left. If you got that film polished, ready to go, and you're looking for a new audience to distribute it to, this is a low-cost short film festival to enter into. We are all in for distributing your work, showing your work to the world. We do a live stream screening of the whole festival. It's all going to be on YouTube in December with, of course, the fine date will be announced as we get a little closer. But it's a lot of fun time. Show up in the chat, hype up this all the stuff you're excited to see. Invite your friends to come out and watch it. It'll only be posted for a limited amount of time for that film festival viability for everyone else's shorts. So please come check it out as soon as you can. But we have a great time doing it. And then you got to tune in to see who's getting the golden toaster this year.
And you'll get more dates and details, of course, on our social media platforms. We get Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Threads, all pretty much at movie_toast. Yes. And daily content, new content flying at you on all those platforms. You don't want to enter the festival. You don't want to check us out on our socials. Maybe there's something else you could do for us. I don't know.
Yeah, at least let us know what you think of the show. As always, come in and check out the Apple Podcast reviews. Tell us what you think of what we're doing so far. If we got to tweak some bits, we're happy to do it, but we just got to know that
we've done it before.
The right way. Exactly. So please give us a review over at Apple Podcasts and let us know, and we will keep getting that toast golden delicious for you. All right. We want to maintain that quality. We want to keep it up to the standards you expect from movie toasters.
But you don't want to do any of that shit. There's one thing that we do ask you to do that's free, and it can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. That, of course, is to
always stay toasty.
I'm in Dennis, they're the kings of the real. Reviewing new movies, they keep it real. Coast to coast, from LA to the east. On the podcast show, they feast on the beast. Adams bringing knowledge like he's Professor X. Dennis with cuts deeper than Wolverine's claws. I guess Marvel, DC, they know them all by heart. Breaking down the plot, tearing every scene apart. They got the juice like Tarantino's Pulp Fiction. Breaking down movies with a sharp precision. Adam coming in hot like a John Wick hit. Dennis bringing the heat like the climax of a Tarzan flick.
Juicy Pulp Fiction. That juice.
Yeah.
Tarantino juice.
Whew, you know what I feel like we gotta sit down and talk about and review, maybe, I don't know, on our next little episode we're doing at Comic-Con. Or, I mean, we could do right now, but we're already eating time. Talk about the whole series encompassing of The Acolyte now that it's over.
Oh, shit. Yes. Yep. That's
I feel like there's a lot going on there.
That there is, yeah. We'll have some unpacking to do. I unfortunately did not get to the finale yet. I've been begging other members of my household to toss it into the lineup, but you
had other important things to like search for Surf Ninjas on Tubi. You couldn't watch a big time TV show, Dennis. No, I get it. I know.
Like I said,
you gotta get it when the iron's hot with the viewing prowess.
Yeah, I've basically got to the point. I think I'm just gonna have to finish it off on my own. I think.
No, I want to do. That's a slippery slope, my friend. It's not worth it.
I can only scroll Reddit so long, seeing all these blurred out spoiler alert.
Yeah, it's rough,
and I'm like, no,
it's everywhere.
I gotta know. I've enjoyed everything up to that point, and it's yeah, sure, it's different, but it's also a fucking corner of the timeline we have seen nothing about really up until now. And I'm loving the unknown. I just love the existence. It's like watching the first time we all saw Mandalorian, you know?
Honestly,
elements, but it's really just, this story is so unique. I love being in.
I'll tell you, I hated it the pilot episode. Grew on me a little bit the second. By the end, I think this is my favorite show, beating Mandalorian at this point. Wow. It's just that interesting and unique. I don't know, but I'll go into that later when we get the chance to do it.
Like, yes, I love even the ones that come and go super quick. You even get me to care about them really fast. Like but yeah, definitely. No, we'll definitely have to check in after I get that one wrapped up, and especially we got the next one coming up here pretty soon. Skeleton Crew is right around the corner, and some more.
Yeah, probably October.
And
I gave up on that one, but I still gotta watch finish the Rogue One prequel.
Ooh, yeah. Oh, dude, that's
knowing that the second's coming. But anything you want to tease about what we're doing at Comic-Con? Well, tease that next episode that's coming next weekend. A bonus episode.
I know there's a few little mixery things we're going to be landing at that
activations.
It would be cool to see some other fellow movie fans out there get your input on what some of the new Borderlands movie coming out. We've got the 25th anniversary of Shaun of the Dead happening. There's a lot of those, just the presence of those elements are showing up, but really I'm excited to just kind of take it all in. It's sounds like it's going to be a big show this year. Adam, you're the veteran.
Bigger than the past 2 or 3 years, sure, but nice. Not where the prime has been, but it's getting back, I guess.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well,
we'll find out.
It's gonna be fun, and then we're gonna be in the same place again. Thank God. Which is also really the main thing I'm looking forward to here.
I could do without it, but no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, it's gonna be good. We're gonna have another episode together. Hopefully, live streaming next Friday, Saturday, somewhere before next Sunday. Hopefully.
Yep.
So please stay tuned to the socials to find out when and where, or give it a download some point next week. And thank you for watching and listening. Anything you got before we really end it?
No, we'll see you guys in San Diego. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. I'll see you guys there. Bam!